All right, guys. I've completely reconfigured my whole streaming setup, and hopefully it sounds good. Hopefully it looks good too. I'm literally watching myself on my screen right now. Sounds better. Sounds better. All right. I'll go, wait. I'm muting myself. All right. So, just to make sure everything's good, I got my water. I have got my phone in case my wife texts me. I do not have the baby monitor, so that's already got that going for me. We're starting early tonight. Now, why start early? Because I thought about it, and it wasn't really fair to my wife, if I'm being completely honest. Normally, I start these at like 8:30, and then I tell my wife it's going to last an hour. Then it gets to 9:30, and then we're rolling. We got like a couple hundred people, and I'm like, all right, I'm going to keep going. I go to like 9:45, sometimes even like 10 o'clock, and I feel really guilty because my wife goes to sleep or likes to have like just her like peace time before she goes to sleep, and so I always feel really guilty about doing that. So I thought if I start earlier, then I can end actually at like 9:30ish, and I don't know, it just made sense. I feel like that would be better. I see people joining. Welcome. We haven't started anything yet, but let me just read the chat real quick, see what's going on. Amrabet, what's going on? Christopher, how's it going? Jas, hey. I'm working with a whole new setup over here. I got new lights. I got a new microphone. I have a new stream setup. So hopefully this actually sounds and looks better because some of my past live streams have not been good. So if this sounds better, if it looks better, I need feedback legitimately, because I have been working I've spent hours like reconfiguring settings just today to make sure this is good. So if it sounds good, please let me know. But Drew, how's it going? Matthias, hey from Argentina, hey from the United States. David, I already see you're asking questions. That's great. I'll get to the questions in just a little bit, I promise. I just like to say hi to people before we get rocking and rolling. Let's see. Valentine, Sunshine, Elizabeth, Anna, Ali. Beautiful data analyst. Hello. Desert, sounds good. Bit tinny at all. I don't know what that means. I'm glad it sounds good. I genuinely needed that feedback. I really did. Mr. Number 6 says, has the wine sabotaged your previous streams? Hope this will be a clean session. No wine tonight. No wine tonight. When we hit 300K in like 2-3 weeks, I will be doing a wine live stream. I plan on inviting my wife, but she hasn't confirmed that she'll do it. But I will be drinking. And that will be a good time because towards the end of that last live stream, I definitely was like, I don't drink a lot. So like, I was feeling it. But we'll do that for the 300K live stream, which would be in like 2 weeks. And then we'll also have an October live stream. So we'll have 2 live streams next month. It'll be a lot of fun. D. Robinson, hey from Minnesota. Hey, I was born in Minnesota. I was born in Benson, Minnesota. Great state. Love it, miss it. Love the cold weather up there. I really do. I miss it. But just so you guys know, I am okay. I know some people were asking how I was doing because I live right near Charleston, South Carolina. I live in Charleston. And when the hurricane, let me see if maybe it's this direction. When the hurricane went through Florida, it kind of regrouped, turned into a hurricane category 1, and then hit Charleston directly. It got pretty windy, lots of rain. But we're okay. It's past us now. I would say for like 2 or 3 hours, it was pretty strong. I was pretty sure something was gonna like break off the house or something, but I checked and I think everything's okay. So we're safe. But yeah, I see a bunch of people coming in. Super great to see all you guys. Michael, Natty, Mia, Martins, Imani, Hello from Dublin. Cool, man. What's going on in Dublin? Hey from the United States. Akil Reddy from Maryland. Northeast, love it. Nigeria. Very cool. Awesome. Yes, believe it or not, on my last stream, I had a glass of wine. I don't drink a lot. So for me, that's like, I can feel it. So towards the end of that stream, I was feeling it. So, but anyways, we're starting early today. I know I said 8:30. People expected 8:30. So I'm just starting early again, just so that my wife can get to sleep a little earlier, because with the hurricane and everything, both her and I have been a little bit stressed about, we had like go bags in case we needed to like leave, or if our power went out or something, which as you can tell, my power's not out. I'm super, super happy about that. But the whole point of this live stream, and doing stuff like this is to answer your guys' questions. I get, believe it or not, literally about 100 messages, LinkedIn messages, Twitter messages, Instagram messages, emails, comments every single day. And sometimes around like 150. I try to answer as many as I can, but sometimes I can't. So these live streams are more like an interactive way to where I can answer your questions without you kind of like typing and hoping I respond, because sometimes I can't get to everybody. So hopefully I can answer everybody's questions during this live stream. I usually get a ton, and just prefacing all this, I usually get a ton in the chat, which I love that you guys have a ton of questions, but I start to fall behind because sometimes I just have really lengthy answers. And so I sometimes fall behind, but I'm going to do my best. And if I don't answer your question, just put it in the chat again so I can like catch it again. But, oh yeah, and Discord. I appreciate, thank you for reminding me. Discord as well. So I get questions through Discord as well. All that to say, that's why I do stuff like this. I really, really, really love doing this because, I don't know, I like the interactivity part of it. But also you guys usually have like really good questions as well. And so that's what this is. Let me get a sip of water real quick. I break this bad boy out. This is where I went to college. I still drink out of this. It's been a while. I think I bought this like 10 years ago. I still use it to this day. But I want to start getting to your questions because I know we got a lot. So if you guys want to start putting questions in the chat, it can be about anything. It can be about courses, skills, paths, job market, how to negotiate salaries. It could be about personal stuff, whatever you want to ask, as long as it's appropriate. Keep it PG. PG-13. Nah, let's keep it PG. I'm just kidding. All right, so I'm gonna start reading some of these. But hey, I still see people joining. Wasim, Smokey, Orlando, Florida. Hey, glad you're doing okay, man. Florida got hit really hard. I've seen it everywhere. They got hit really hard. I'm glad you're doing okay. I think Orlando isn't near Tampa, I believe. So it's like the opposite side. I think so. My geography is not great, if I'm being honest. So hopefully you did. Hopefully you're doing all right. Albaro says, I just got my first job as a report developer thanks to your videos and website and video. Just wanted to thank you. Hey, awesome, man. If you don't have you're asking somebody else. I'll let that person answer. Yeah, I do have a Discord. Find it somewhere. The Discord is something I get on there almost every day, but I don't interact a lot. It's mostly for you guys to have a community of people who are data analysts who can like chat and ask each other questions. There's a lot of good people on there who will post their resumes, their projects, questions, and it's a good place. I check it out almost every single day. I just don't talk a lot because it's mostly for you guys. Anyways, back to the questions. Sayek said, hey, I'm a student in Germany and I'm finding it extremely hard to convert applications into interviews. Do you know anything about an analyst market in Germany and how to land an entry-level role? I don't really know the Germany market that well. I really don't. But here's one thing that I'll say. In general, and I have a lot of people who will say this exact same thing, saying I'm applying, and I'm not getting any interviews. 9 times out of 10 from somebody who fields a lot of resumes, and is a hiring manager, most of the time it's just a bad resume. Like if I see a good resume, they have the right skills, 9 times out of 10 I'm bringing them in. So if your resume is getting in front of the eyes of hiring managers and you're not getting a callback, it's your resume. And that's not to say that it's because you don't have experience, because sometimes the experience isn't as, it's important, but that's not the reason why you're not getting interviews. It's because it's not well formatted, it's not clear and concise, you don't have it laid out well. It's more like you just don't have a good resume. That is what I have found to be the case for most people who aren't getting interviews at all. If you're getting interviews and you're not getting the job, that's a whole different ballgame. But I would really look at the resume. I have an older video. I need to make a newer one, but it still applies. A lot of that stuff still applies, where I walk through how to create a resume, and there's some templates on there. I still like those. I went and checked that out like a month ago, and I was like, yeah, it still applies. So, something to think about. Let's keep going, because I went way back, way high by accident. Sandeep says, "Hi Alex, you're a legend. Thank you. I learned quite a lot from your videos. Please keep doing more sessions." Will do, man. Will do. Thanks for being here. Ali says, "I don't think," or Ale says, "I don't think this is water." Ghost said, "How old are you?" I am 27 years old, and up until recently, I didn't like to talk too much about it. I've had this channel for 3 years. When I started this channel, I was 24 years old. So, I'd only been in the career landscape, you could say, for like 3 years, 2 of them in analytics. But I'm extremely passionate about what I do. I love making videos, interacting with people, and I love data analytics. And that's why I started it. I didn't start it because I was the best data analyst in the world or knew everything. I started it just because I have a passion for like teaching people. I love mentoring people and doing stuff like this. So yeah, I don't know. I feel like whenever I tell people I've said it on a few different live streams, hey, I'm 27, people are like, first off, you look 35. And I'm like, yeah, I get it. The second thing is a lot of people think I'm really young, and I agree. I am pretty young. But that's all my own commentary. I don't even think you guys have started commenting on that yet. But let's keep going. Again, if I miss, it's hard to keep up all the questions. So if I miss it, I apologize. How do you start up from hosting project? How do you, Daniel said, how do you start up with hosting projects on GitHub? You can do GitHub pages. That's what I use for mine. Or you could just use a GitHub and people go on there and look at that. There's another one. Somebody just did a video on this, somebody else. Geez. It's like github.io or something. Look into that. But it's just a way to show your GitHub. I mean, it's all about creating your portfolio on there, adding different projects, having a good README, something that points to your resume. It's just like any other, it's like a landing page for your resume, really, and projects. But I like GitHub pages because it looks better, and it's completely free. Saya, okay. Alex, can I have the link to the Discord? Yeah, let me put the link to the, all right, give me a second. I'm going to get the link to the Discord so that people can have that. I'll just put it in the chat. Give me 1 second. I wasn't prepared for this. This could take a little bit. Invite people. Okay. All right, I'm going to do this one, although it expires in 7 days. Be warned. It expires in 7 days. That's the link right there. I just posted it. It expires in 7 days. I could have, made it forever, but I don't want to take too much time. Anyways, Chief of Nades. That's a cool name. I don't know what that means, but it sounds cool. Unless it's not cool. All right, keep me honest. Hey, Alex, I was told by a company director to send my resume. Most of their jobs are more specialized. Should I tailor my resume to specific jobs or stay broad? That's a fantastic question, first off. I tailor my resume when I have a very specific job I'm applying for. So if I'm applying for, okay, so one of the main competitors with my company, and I applied to them and got many interviews with a few different parts of their team. I know that company really well. It's called McKesson. McKesson's a pharmaceutical distribution company. They're our top competitor. I know what they're looking for, so I changed my resume just for that application or those applications. But in general, if you're just applying broadly and you're not specifically targeting companies, you're not at that level yet, then I would keep it more broad, and you just need to have a lot of the keywords that you think they'll be looking for, a lot of the skills, a lot of those like phrases that the jobs that you're applying for are looking for. So just some general advice, that's what I would do. Pritesh says, how is the job market for business analyst versus a data analyst? I think they're both same. They're both doing well. There's going to, I mean, given right now we're in this like really weird climate with, we're just in a really weird space with the economy, with the job market, with layoffs, with hiring freezes. Most companies are not going through hiring freezes and layoffs. Despite what you see online, most companies aren't. That's a small fraction of mostly the large major tech companies, because they just went hiring like crazy during the pandemic or during like the past year or two. They just went insane, which was great for all the data analysts trying to get jobs, but it also sucks because now we're on this economic downturn and it's tough. But for most small to medium, even Fortune 500 companies, most are still hiring as normal. So it's still good. But they're very similar markets, pretty much across the board. Tina, happy face, says, I'm proficient in Excel, Power Query, and started learning Python and Power BI. What is the right time to get a job in data analytics? My current job is more administrative. There's always that question of when should I start applying? I have always said this, which is apply before you feel ready. Because when you feel ready, you're way more ahead than you need to be, I think. Oftentimes, if you have good Excel skills, like you've been practicing, or good Excel, good SQL, and just some Power BI, some Tableau, to where you can at least show that in like a project, like some of my projects and stuff. Excuse me. I would start there. You have the skills, you know what you're doing. Create those projects and then reformat that resume and apply. The reason I say do that is because when you start applying and you start either getting rejected by every single person, you're going to know, or you start getting interviews and they're like, yeah, we don't really care if you have this. What we really care about is this, and you'll start learning. So it almost every single time it's a learning move. When you first start applying, the chances of getting a job right away are extremely low, but applying is a great thing to learn from. That's where I learned a ton from, because I got rejected so many times. I learned a ton from my failures. So it's worth just going for it if you have the free time and you're not, you have that ability to switch jobs at the moment. Christian Richard, is it getting harder to break into the analytics space without the background now and a recruiter? I see most jobs on LinkedIn with 500 plus job applicants now. Christian, that is true. Okay, so go back 5 years when I first started getting into analytics. It was easier. There's been a big shift in people trying to move towards tech, especially due to the pandemic. I have seen on my channel, which is, slightly indicative, that a lot of people are trying to go into the analytics space. My channel has like doubled the views and the subscribers every single month for almost a year now. And during the pandemic, that was a huge shift where people wanted to work remote. People wanted to get into data and tech. And this is a really great way to do that, which I'm sure why a lot of people watching this are trying to do that, because it's just a great field. It's fantastic. And so, yeah, it's getting more difficult. With that being said, a lot of the advice that I talk about on my channel are things that if I were to start over today are the exact things that I would do, and are things that I see every single day working with mentees and things like that, because a lot of these people don't have any experience. They're a teacher or they're a nurse or they're something else. Leveraging your background, whatever your background is, whether it's healthcare, construction, finance, anything, leveraging that background and then using that and working with a recruiter, especially because they can really help you. Leveraging that background, creating a really good resume, learning those skills, that is what is going to get you a job. I still to this day don't think you need a degree. I have thought about it, and I'm going to take a small tangent. I apologize. But I had really considered for like several years to go back and get a master's degree because I was like, how am I ever going to move up? Like, how am I ever going to excel in this field and like become a manager and a director? Like, the farther I got into it, the more entrenched I became into it, and the better I got at the skills and everything, the more I realized that does not matter. It's having I have a bachelor's in recreational therapy, so I do have a bachelor's of a minimum, but it has nothing to do with this field. So I still don't fully think that you need that level of education. I don't think if you don't have it, like if I were to start over today and you said you could go to school for a year and get a bachelor's or whatever, or a year and get, or 2 years and get a master's or whatever, or just start off today and start learning the skills and then applying, I would start learning the skills and applying because the resources online are fantastic. You can learn those skills and then you can get a job. Anyways, I'm going off on a huge tangent. I apologize. I'm not getting to anybody's questions. Give me a second. Suraj Singh says, how much mathematics is required to become a data analyst? I always tell people to get into data analytics, just basic statistics, basic stuff, right? Understand how aggregations work, sum, mean, median, count, distinct count, things like that. Though I think that is going to be what you use the majority of the time. And as you get further into it, which is what happened to me, I just learned the very basics. As you get into it, you learn more and more advanced things. So now, like where I'm at, I know a lot more advanced things, but you don't need to know that. That is not a requirement to get into it, although some people will say it is. It's not. David from Nigeria, what's going on, man? What's the name of that site that was just mentioned? Discord? Talking about Discord, Tina? I'm going to say Discord. Discord is just a group, a place where people can chat. Sandeep said, any chances you can make a session on data warehouse? I'll probably make a video dedicated to data warehouses because data warehouses are pretty cool, but probably not like a live stream. But yeah, data warehouse. I'll go more into like data lakes, data warehouses in future videos, but not on like a session like this. Katerina Gentilli. Hi, Alex. Do you think theoretical statistics background is necessary for a solid data analytics career? Whoa, theoretical statistics? No, I don't. I think you don't need it, right? Statistics, mathematics, statistics, physics, engineering, all those degrees are pretty applicable. You'll get a lot of statistics with those backgrounds. Is it needed? No, it's not necessary for a solid data analyst career. Absolutely not. What's the difference between, Solo B said, what's the difference between a data analyst and a data architect? A data architect is building the framework. So think about somebody who's designing how the database is going to look. When the data is ingested and you need to efficiently and as optimized as you possibly can design these data warehouses like we were just mentioning, these data lakes, and build these models to where they're connected in the most efficient way to save your company money and to have your automated processes go smoothly. That's what data architects do. It is very, very technical. They work with, a lot of SQL. They work with a lot of, could be Hadoop or, things like MongoDB, NoSQL, stuff like that. Whereas a data analyst, we're not going to be designing data warehouses or anything. That's not what we do. This is not what you should be doing. If you are doing it, you should get a different job title. Edgar said, what do you see as highlights for these kind of resumes to consider? Greetings from Mexico. Hey Mexico. Greetings from the US. What are the highlights of these kind of resumes? Okay, super high level. The top of your resume should be a contact section. Next should be a skills section. You can put a summary section. I'm not a huge fan. I don't have one on mine. But a skills section that highlights your skills. Then either a projects, if you don't have any experience as a data analyst, or if you have experience, your experience should be next. Here is my logic behind just that in general. When a hiring manager looks at your resume, you do not want the first thing that their eyes go to is something not related or showing that you don't have experience. That is the last thing you want to do. So if you put your experience at the top and you don't have any experience, your last job is at Subway, love Subway, but that's not going to help you get a data analyst job. And that's the first thing they see, they're going to toss it. You want to show SQL, Tableau, Python. They're like, okay, great. They go to projects, SQL, Python, Tableau. Okay, great. Then they go to your experience and you don't have much experience. They're like, man, that sucks. They don't have experience. They have all the skills we're looking for. Let's give them a shot. That's my logic. And I have always said that. I've always done that myself. I just think it's a good way to do it. Oh, geez. Oh, boy. I just skipped to the bottom. Okay, I'm coming back. Oh, boy. Oh, geez. Oh, my gosh. I'm so far behind, guys. I'm about to miss some questions. I am. Let's see. Here we go. Here's some questions. Would it be possible you start making some videos on analyzing clickstream data? I don't, what do you mean clickstream? I don't know what clickstream data means. If you put a link in the chat or tell me what that is, maybe I will. But I have a bunch of like, we're about to start our Python series in a few weeks. Next week is like a fun video that Luke and I made. Then I have a few interviews that I did with some people. And then I'm starting the Python tutorial series. So I have a bunch of projects in that. So I've already made them. So, you know, just let me know what it is. I'll look into it. Maybe I will. Ember said, hi, Alex. I want to know what your interest field when you're starting out making projects / portfolios. Okay, so if you're making a portfolio and you want it to be something that looks good to somebody who's, you know, hiring you, or they look, let's say they like actually go in and look at your code or look at your data. I always like at least one or maybe two projects to be specific. Tina Huang is messaging me. Tina, is that you in the chat? Oh, geez. Give me a second, guys. I apologize. Tina's distracting me. If that's her, then I'm going to be feel stupid because I should have. I'm confused. I don't know. Anyways, she's messaging me. I don't know why. Maybe she's in the chat. That's why. Anyways, oh geez, no, she's not. I'm so confused. She messaged me at the weirdest time. So, where was I? Oh, projects. I like to have one or two projects that are industry specific. I apologize for that tangent. That happens all the time. I'm live. All right. I have other things going on. So for me, healthcare. For me, when I was creating projects, I was thinking, what is relevant to healthcare? Claims data is super relevant and something that almost every company does in some capacity. So I did a claims data project, right? But I also did some other ones that were more unique. So I tracked, what was that first project that I did? I was tracking, was it my gas mileage? That was a project that I did. I was tracking my own gas mileage, inputting like my odometer readings. I did one where I was tracking workout or calories or something like that. This is a long time ago. It was like 5-6 years ago. But something that you enjoy. I have seen people do ones on like Yu-Gi-Oh cards or Pokemon cards, or I watch prices as one that I did like web scraping on. Just something that you enjoy. I think is something fun. That's how I come up with mine. But I try to make something that's kind of like relevant to the industry, and then one that's kind of fun. Let's see. Oh man, what did I do? Yeah. Okay, I'm looking at more questions. I'm reading through them, scrolling through them. Taro said, I'm gonna have interview with a couple of companies in the US and Canada. Oh, from Canada, do you have any advice? I worked recently with somebody, it was like 6 months ago, who lived in Canada, wanted to move to the US for a data analyst job. He got a job, doing super well. My advice would be just to tell them that you're willing to relocate, even if you're not, even if it's going to be a remote job, just tell them you're going to be willing to relocate. 9 times out of 10, they're not going to ask you to do that. And if they do that, just at the end say, hey, something's come up. I want to work remote. Is it a lie? A little bit. But 9 times out of 10, you're not going to get called out on it. And that's what they want to hear. They just want to hear that you're willing to do it, not that you're actually going to have to do it. Not my most ethical piece of advice, but that's what I would say. My other advice is just have a really positive attitude. Be really excited about it. That's something that I always really appreciate in interviews. It's just, I'm like, okay, this person actually wants to work. This person actually wants to work for this company and stay here. So an enthusiasm for the company or just working in general is, that's a skill. Himani said, I'm studying master's in data analytics. Awesome. I have a thesis this semester. Can you help me suggesting some topics for my master's thesis, please? I've never done a master's thesis. I don't know what topics would be good, if I'm being completely honest. I really don't. I have no suggestions. I don't even know what it would be a good thesis. Xenophone 2006 said, I know I need to eventually find a niche inside of data analytics. I agree. Would being a tax specialist be a reasonable niche to get into along with data analytics? I'm studying to become an enrolled agent. I am not going to lie to you. I don't know what a tax specialist data analyst is. I don't know that niche. Taxes, I pay taxes, but I don't know that niche. It really could be. Look on like Discord or go on Reddit and ask that question, because somebody who may be knowledgeable in an area could tell you. I don't know. I'm sorry. Have you thought about creating a startup related to data analytics? Ali? Yes, I have. I definitely have considered it. Federico, as time progresses, I'm sure I will update more on that, but no update as of now. Federico said, do you understand Databricks? I don't quite get it. Yes, I used Databricks for many years. I don't want to go into a history of what Databricks is, but we use Databricks. I used it with PySpark. So we used it a lot with our massive amount of data that we were getting in. And we used it a lot with Azure Data Lake and something else. But we used it for a lot of our, semi-structured data. So a lot of our JSON files that we were getting, that's what we used a lot for. But all to say, I don't want to go into the history of what Databricks is, but yes, I do understand Databricks. I do plan on making full tutorials / videos on Databricks, Azure, AWS, and like tools like that, because that stuff is, I think that's like the next progression of what data analysts are going to start needing to know. So like probably within the next year, I'll be making tutorials and videos on how to do all that, because that stuff is kind of important to know. Let me see. I'm just looking. I like cybersecurity and data analysts. Is there somewhere in between, Viv? I in my position now, we work at a cybersecurity team. There are cybersecurity analysts, but they are much more on the cybersecurity technical side, but they analyze cybersecurity threats and things like that. So no, I wouldn't say that I know of a huge crossover, although I'm sure that there is something out there. I myself don't know it. I apologize. Okay. Wasim said, which particular soft skill do you think is the most crucial for data analytics? Would you say it's critical thinking, inquisitiveness, or some other soft skill? I'll give you a couple, but the number one I would say is communication, which is super generic. And I actually did make a video on this. I don't remember what it was called though, but I talked about it because communication is just, if you can't communicate, it's really hard to get your job done. It's like super important. But other than that, I would say problem solving. And to kind of get in the mind of like why I would say that is communication, I would say is just number one, because you can do your job and you can be an amazing data analyst, but if you don't communicate that well with your team, like people are going to look at you like you're an idiot. I've seen it. I've semi-done it a little bit where I'm like, I don't really know what I'm saying or how to communicate this, and it comes off bad, I look bad. It just doesn't bode well. You just need to be able to communicate well. The next thing is problem solving, because I mean, when you're working with this data and it gets complex and it's a lot of industry knowledge and you have to research things and you have to figure things out, you have to be able to problem solve. You have to be. And so, yeah, problem solving. I don't know if that's a soft skill though. Yeah, I guess it's a soft skill. But critical thinking is a good one. KB says, what do you think of data consulting? Data consulting is great. You know, in the past year or two, especially since this channel has grown, I've been doing more consulting. And so my opinion has changed, because when I started this, I knew nothing about consulting. And so I always told people to go to, what's his name? David Arianson. I think that's his name. David Arianson. I want to say, I feel like I'm saying his last name wrong, but he is a data analytics guy. He has like another YouTube channel called How to Get a Data Analyst Job, or How to Get a Job as a Data Analyst, or something like that. And I always used to send people to him. Now that I'm in consulting myself, I've been doing it a lot. Just in my free time, in my tons of free time that I have, I do consulting. I really like it. I think it's great. You can set your own prices. You can get your own clients. And you can retain those clients for multiple projects, and you can offer discounts, and you get to do everything. It's like running your own little consulting business. It's fun. I like it a lot. Let's see. FMYM, I'm sure that stands for something. I don't know, though. I apologize. Hi, Alex. Do you have any tips on how to build a portfolio? Yes, I do. But you also said I've created several Google Data Studio dashboards. Where should I put my work? Yeah, there's a few different places. GitHub is always a fantastic place to put that, or to put that. But you can also create a website like Wix, and you can create a free website, although you won't be able to like customize your URL, unfortunately. But if you use the free one, it's perfectly fine. You can put these projects on there, take screenshots, take clips, use a narrative approach to it. Or you can use GitHub, which is more of like a code forward approach, where it's not as much narrative. You don't do a lot of talking. You just let the code speak for itself. You do GitHub pages. You can become a web dev and create your own website using HTML or JavaScript. There's a lot of different options, But building a portfolio, check out my portfolio series here on YouTube. There's like 10 of them now on tons of different skills. And that's how you go about doing it. You know, find resources to do them first and then try to build them yourself. Let's see. Kenny said, Kenny Cheng said, how well versed with SQL do you have to be for an entry-level data analyst job? An entry-level data analyst job, and I am not messing with you. This is what I genuinely believe. You need to be able to use select, from, where, group by, and order by. That is all you need. Now you need to know those well. You need to be able, joins on as well. You need to know those. Those are like the minimum. That is like, I was just barely there when I first started. But today, the landscape's changed. You need to know how to do that. But genuinely, I mean, usually if you know how to use aggregate functions, you know how to select data, you know how to do some filtering using the where statement, you can group things and perform aggregations on it, and you can join different tables, you're good. I have, in my series, I have like, case statements, which is, you should learn that. But subqueries and temp tables and all, you don't need to know all that. You don't. And you'll learn it when you get a job, but focus really hard on those initial stuff. That's what I use 95% of the time. It really is. Taro, look, I see you post in the chat, man, but it's not I think I already answered that was for somebody else. So yeah, we gotta stop posting that. I apologize. Oh geez. Guys, who's spamming the chat? Do I need some moderators in here? Where are my mods? They're not in here today, but that's okay. Sorry, I just got around to the comment that said, no, I'm a different Tina. Sorry, Tina Wang, who's a big YouTuber in data science, was just messaging me, and I thought she was the Tina. I was like, that doesn't look like Tina's account. Okay, let's get back to the questions. And Neil said, "What's your total experience as a data analyst?" I could take that in a few different ways. Give me a second. I've been doing data analytics for about 5 years. I started off as a data collection specialist analyst at a nonprofit. Then I went to a healthcare company because I have a background in healthcare, given my degree as a recreational therapist. Then I got an actual data analyst job at this company. I mostly use SQL, Tableau, Excel. That's it. Then I got the job at the current company I work in, and I've been here for over 3 years. As a junior data analyst, I took a title decrease with a pay increase. I was making $76,000, but I was being paid hourly, so like $35 an hour. Then I joined. I did really good. I was a contract to hire. I did really good during that thing. They gave me a 2 pay bump to a data analyst 2. And I was using Azure, SQL, Python, Excel, Power BI. Then I got the job I'm currently in. Again, that's like years during that. That's like 4 years for that. And then I'm in the job now, which I've been in for a year as a manager of data analytics. And I manage a team of analysts and developers. So that's where I'm at. That's my experience. That's my background. If you're looking for just curiosity's sake. But I have a couple of videos on literally how I made those transitions, how much money I was making, my skills, all that stuff. Let's see. Ali said, "Hi, Alex, long time no see you." Yeah, I don't do a lot of live streams. I've been working on. I hope this is like my best live stream ever. Genuinely, my past live streams I've used like a webcam because I don't know what I'm doing. I have put in hours of research to make this better. I really hope it like actually shows. We'll see. Here's a one that's interesting. Oh wait, let me see if I skipped any good ones. I'm in a data analytics boot camp, so I ever use Excel in the workforce. You'll use Excel every day. Here's a good one. John Murilli Cohen. I don't know how to say that. I apologize. Are you experienced in ICD 9/10 medical coding? Yes. I've used that for years. Nobody's ever asked me. I maybe had like one person ask me that before, but that's super interesting. Yeah. I used ICD-9 codes. Obviously ICD-9 codes aren't being used anymore. At least they should not be used anymore for claims and all that stuff. You need to be using ICD-10 because ICD-9 are the old ones. But yeah, super familiar with ICD-9, ICD-10s. I did that for years, and super interesting data to work with. I worked with a lot of hospitals, like the doctors, as well as like the CEOs of hospitals. We'd work with them on their ICD-9 and 10 codes. And I did a lot of MIPS, if you know what MIPS is, for payments, and we worked with a lot of claims data. But yeah, I love ICD-9 codes. LOINC, HCPCS, CBT codes, man, I know them all. Magnus said, "Hey Alex, I think I currently have solid skills in SQL, Python, and Tableau, but I feel stuck because I can't come up with a project that integrates these skills. Any advice?" My advice is just start small. Don't try to incorporate all the skills right away. Don't try to do something that use Python to web scrape and imports it into SQL, and then SQL connect to Tableau. Like, it just start really small. Just do a Python project. Look it up. You can find 100 of them online. Just type Google Python projects, find one and do it. And build from there, right? Because as you learn more, you'll be like, oh, I have this idea. At least that's what always happens with me. I start with like a guided project and I do it. And I do like more advanced projects now where I'm like trying to do like pagination through web scraping and stuff like that. That's like more advanced. And I get this idea and I'm like, oh, I could do this using this other website and then try to do this. And then I go and try to do it. That's like where I get inspiration, is just through other people's projects. How many jobs do you need to apply until you get a yes? Wallace West. That's the golden question, man. If I knew that, people would be paying me the big bucks, but I don't know. It can range. I mean, some people can get it in their first 100, which is fantastic. But it really depends on how you're applying. Some people can get in far less if they're working efficiently and working with recruiters, or they have good connections and they know people who can get them good referrals. That goes a long way. It's hard to get it when you're first starting out because you aren't in the industry. But like me now, I have like 10 different people I could reach out to and be like, hey, do you have any openings? And if I did, I think I could get an interview fairly easily. But that's what happens with getting connections. It helps you get in easier. But it could be, I mean, for me, it was like, I did it the worst, most inefficient way possible. I applied to over 1,000 jobs before I got my first real data analyst job. And I don't want to go into the pain and the horror that was, because it's emotionally scarring. But genuinely, I applied to over 1,000. It was just because I went on monster.com, linkedin.com, indeed.com, and just blasted my resume every which way, applying to machine learning jobs. And like, I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't. Now I would never do that, but that is what I did. Audrey Honeycutt said, thank you for your guided projects. I was able to publish my first dashboard on LinkedIn. Awesome. Great work. LinkedIn Ratan Kumar said, LinkedIn tips for freshers. That's a really good one. LinkedIn is it's a fantastic social media place if you're trying to find a job. It really is. It's really great, and anybody can make it on there. Anybody can do well and make connections and all this stuff. It's really great. Tips: optimize your LinkedIn profile. You need a good picture. Make a good summary. List all your skills on there, because recruiters can reach out to you based off those skills. Get the badges just because you can. You don't need them, but why not? So that's always good. But share your knowledge as you learn. Share. It hurts because you'll get like one like on your project and you worked your butt off for it, and you're like, you're super proud of yourself and you get one like. But listen, as you continue to progress, as they get better, as you post more, you will get more people who's come to support you and to like your stuff and share it. And you know, that's almost like a portfolio in an essence. Like you're creating this online presence, this online portfolio. You don't have to have 1,000, 10,000, 100,000 followers. You just have to show that you're on there, you're working. It's like a GitHub repo. Like if you show how much stuff you've been putting in your GitHub over the past year, that means something. I mean, it shows commitment. There's some general tips, but also post. You know, get out there, do stuff. Adewale M said, thank you for those portfolio projects, bro. Fist bump. You're most welcome. Hey, I'm glad you appreciate them. Glad you like them. Mohammed Al-Bayadi said, how much Python do I need to learn? Stuff like linked list, heaps, trees, etc. are showing up and I find them difficult. So do I need to learn all of those? No, at least for a data analyst. Now, Python goes very far. Myself have looked into these things. But as a data analyst, 99% of people who use Python as a data analyst will not do that. There's 1% out there who's gonna be like, dude, yeah, I totally use it for my job. The other 99% aren't. Most of the time, they're gonna be doing stuff like pandas, web scraping. I genuinely use pandas and web scraping all the time. That's one that I know a lot of other people do, but that's from my perspective. I use those all the time, and those are ones that I tell people to learn. And then, just knowing how to do for loops or process files, like things like that. That's what you'll use more in Python. Aphrodilla. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. I apologize. I'm just about to start from scratch. Where should I learn from? One, genuinely, and I'm not just saying this because it's me, but watch my videos. I always tell people this, and I genuinely mean it. When I was first starting out, I had nobody. There were no YouTubers who did what I do right now. There was like one or two, but they weren't good. At least I didn't really learn much from them. I have a lot of videos. I made them specifically for people who are just starting out because that's where I was, and I wanted to help you out. So watch my video on how to become a data analyst in 2022. That video is like high level, breaks down what I think you should focus on. Then check out my tutorials, check that stuff out. That's where I would start. Then I would build up to because you can learn a lot of the basics, a lot of like the core skills I think you need to learn on my channel. Then you go take like a Tableau certification or a course on Coursera, go to Udemy and take a course, but do the free stuff first, learn what you kind of need to know, then venture out and pay money to learn. That's what I would do. I was so against spending money when I first started out. I was broke. Good night. Edema Ayo Kunle Do you think data analysts are needed in the oil industry? Have you heard about that before? Struggling to find my niche. Yes, there is definitely a niche in the oil industry. I know people who work in what they call big oil, but it's not as common. But I know for a fact, although I have heard that it's more statistics in the oil industry. So I believe you just need to know a little bit more statistics than other industries. Let's see. I'm kind of skipping some of the ones that I've already answered, although I may repeat because I know there's a bunch of new people and some people filter in and out. Sinister. Hi, Alex. I master Excel and just done about an hour ago with your SQL Advanced tutorial and about to learn Power BI, but I always have this question. When I don't know what should I do get from this data. Okay, I get what you're saying. You're basically saying when I get a data set, what should I be looking for? What should I be trying to look for? Now, for me, since I've been doing this for many years and I've worked at so many different data sets, I instinctively know when I see a data set within like the first 10 seconds, I'm like, I can already tell you what I'm looking for because it's like muscle memory. It's just I've done so many of them, I know. But as somebody who's never done it, you don't have that muscle memory built up, right? So what you need to do is you need to find someone who can walk you through it, who can walk you through a data set. Doesn't have to be your data set, but find projects, find tutorials who walk through data sets and explain, here's what I'm thinking about when I do those. I know other YouTubers who do those for free. And you can just listen to them. So when I see something like a date column, the first thing I'm thinking of, do I need to clean it up? Do I need this date column? Do I need, am I going to make some type of time series based off of this? Or is this, has nothing to do with the data set? Are there codes? Is there customer information? Like, these are things you just pick up on and you know what to do with them. You know what information it is. So my advice to you is just, instead of trying to do it all on your own the whole time, is find somebody, Google it, search for it, look on YouTube, find someone who has done this before and you can listen to and learn from. Because it's kind of like having your own little mentor, right? Maybe not exactly for your data set, but you can learn their thought process. And that's very important. Coleman Parks, A-Dog, where we get Hurricane Ian data set. I just joined stream. Coleman, I am guaranteeing that there will be a Hurricane Ian data set probably on Kaggle within the next week. That's where I'll be checking. I might check that one out myself because that's pretty good. Okay, Alif FTW. Heyo, I am a senior. I'm guessing in college, maybe in high school. I followed your tips and videos and landed as a data intern at a bank. Hey, congratulations. That's awesome, man. Been doing it 3 months. I want to get a full-time position once I graduate next year. Any tips? You have set yourself up already for a very good career. You're working at a bank. You have an internship. You're a data analyst. You're about to graduate. I mean, you are where I wish I was 7 years ago. You are exactly where I wish, because you are primed to just take off in the next 4 or 5 years, become a senior data analyst. I mean, Alif, I don't know who you are, but I believe in you. What I will say is what you need to do right now is try to secure a job where you're working. Go to your boss and just say, hey, even if you don't, unless you really hate this job, let me preface this, but just say, hey, I have learned a ton. And I now know a lot about this bank in particular. I understand your data, I understand your needs, and I want to stay so that I can use that experience and help you and grow with your company. Could I come on as a junior data analyst? And just leave it at that. They'll say, hey, we don't have a position right now, but this other team has a position. Most of the time, they'll at least consider it, right? That is a good place to be. That's what I'd be doing. And then start applying if you don't. Start applying. David Yolchayev said, I couldn't answer a few industry-specific questions for a senior analyst role. Is that okay? I showcased my SQL, Python, Tableau, and communication skills. I'm getting parched. I apologize. Here's what I'll say about senior analyst positions. And it's a really big, almost catch-22. And I'm going to answer your question directly, and then I'm going to go off on a tangent. Okay, I'm just warning you. When you get to a senior level role, 9 times out of 10, it's not 9 times out of 10. 6 times out of 10. I'm going to lower that. 6 times out of 10, they really just want someone who really knows their industry. Senior level, to me, usually says, I know this industry extremely well. That's where a lot of their value is derived. Their technical skills are obviously important. Sometimes you can get a job just off of technical skills. But from my experience, the industry knowledge or the domain knowledge becomes way more important as you become senior level, manager, lead, director. You need industry knowledge. That is what becomes most important. So is it okay? As long as it wasn't every single question, yes, I think it's okay. It's natural to not be perfect. But you study up on those questions. Whatever they asked you, really think about that. If you get a similar interview, try to answer those, because domain knowledge becomes much more important the higher level you get. Oops, I went the wrong way. Can I excuse me. This water is getting to me, guys. Excuse me. Can I work in, and I was gonna go on a tangent. So I'm gonna go on a teeny tangent. I worked with a mentee recently. He's now 2 years in as a data analyst. I just stopped working with him like 3 months ago, but I worked with him for like a year and a half. He got his first job, contract, now full time. And he said, do I need to go into a specific industry? Because he's kind of a generalist. He's done a bunch of random jobs. I said, hey, listen, let's say you have 10 years experience jumping around, and now you're like, I have 10 years experience as a data analyst, but you have no singular experience in an industry. You don't have a lot of industry knowledge. 10 years looks like a lot, and you're like, hey, I deserve to be a senior. Well, when you go try to be a senior data analyst or even hire a manager, they're going to expect that level. So you're going to kind of handicap yourself in terms of salary, because you're going to expect a pay that's up here, but your domain knowledge is keeping you down. Versus, let's say, someone like me who specializes in healthcare, or whatever industry you want to specialize in, but I specialize in healthcare. My really deep knowledge of healthcare allowed me to propel a lot faster and get a lot more money, because I have that domain knowledge, and that's what they're paying for. I have the technical skills, but they're paying for that domain knowledge. 10 years of experience in one industry versus 10 years of just general experience. The person with the experience is single experience is going to get a job 10 times faster every time. They just are. They know the industry. They know what the market looks like. They know how to talk. They know the verbiage. They know everything. That is what makes you valuable, in my opinion. Take it or leave it. Can I work in freelancing as a data analyst without working in companies? Absolutely. You can do consulting, start a little consulting company. You could do freelancing in terms of like Fiverr, Upwork, those other platforms. I can't remember what they're called. You absolutely can do that. Or talk to your local company, ask if they need help, reach out, call. Let me see. This one's an interesting one. Theophilus Wareko. I found myself in a situation where I'm trying to get into a data analyst niche, but I'm in a startup where there's no one to mentor me. What do you think will help me? That's really tough, because when I got my first job, I had not my first one as a data collection specialist and analyst, but my first real data analyst job at the healthcare analytics company. I had a fantastic mentor who taught me so much. I really think that's like where I learned the most, is just from mentors, kind of guiding me and working me, helping me problem solve. If you don't have a mentor, it can be tough, right? There are people like myself who do mentorships. I don't have any availability. I apologize, but you can find them. You can search on LinkedIn, find someone else in this industry or, in your realm who you can talk about. Go to the Discord, go to my Discord and see if there's other people who are in a similar place and just try to talk with them. But a mentor is not having a mentor is tough. you know, it's hard to figure things out if you don't have someone who already knows it and can kind of guide you. My recommendation would just be to reach out and try to find somebody. Oh, geez, it just skipped to the very bottom. It just skipped a ton of stuff. Geez, let me go back. Geez, oh my gosh. Oh boy. I didn't go as far back, so now I'm near the front. If I missed your question, you really want me to answer it, gotta post it again. I'm super sorry. The Kick32, what's your editor of choice for Python and SQL? I use Notepad++ for Python. I know I need to commit to a better tool. And for SQL, I prefer dbeaver. Let's see. For Python, I mostly use Visual Studio Code. I've used Atom, I've used PyCharm. I like Visual Studio Code. For me, it makes the most sense. I like, for some things, for when I do tutorials and stuff, I love Jupyter Notebooks. So Jupyter Notebooks is another good one if you want to kind of like, it's just a different format. It's a different way that you can think about things. So I like Jupyter Notebooks as well. For SQL, I really prefer MySQL and I prefer Microsoft SQL Server. Those are the ones that I like. Diego Torres says, hey Alex, I started watching your videos before getting a job in data. Now I've been a data analyst for almost 2 years, hoping to move into data science soon. Thanks for the great content. Awesome, man. Congratulations. That's fantastic. Let's see. Just reading through. Sinister says, man, someone ask you if getting data analyst job will make him get a beautiful wife. No. Getting my beautiful wife had nothing to do with me being a data analyst. I actually got my first data analyst job partially because of my wife. So no, my wife was what made me. My job did not get my wife. I'll tell you that much. And I think she may be watching. If you were there, wife, if you were out there watching, which you said you were going to, you're downstairs watching. I believe in you. I care about you. If you were downstairs watching, just put something in the chat. Just anything, whatever comes to your heart. This is a good one. Gobble, gobble, gobble. Turkey over here. How many callbacks did you get from applying to 1,000 jobs? I don't remember the numbers. I think it was like, I got callbacks from like 75 or something. And I actually got a job offer, believe this or not. I got a job offer as a data scientist who was going to be working at a title loans. And if anybody knows what a title loan is, it's a really scammy, crummy company. And I had no idea. I was like, but they were going to hire me on at like 75,000. And I looked at my wife, I was like, that sounds like a great job. But I started looking into the company. I was like, this would be, what a great title to have. But the company had like 1 rating. Everybody said they were quitting within the first couple months. And I was like, I didn't want to leave my current job because my family was dependent on my income, right? We needed my income. So I didn't want to go to my job that paid decent and go to this job that I thought I was going to get fired within the first 3 months and then have no job. So yeah, I didn't get many. I think it was only 1. But then I started being smarter. I started working with recruiters. And once I started working with recruiters, I got a lot more job offers, a lot more actual interviews or second round interviews, much, much, much better. Sorry, yeah, Ember, I have the Discord link above. I can't go grab it at the moment, but yeah, if anyone has it, share it. Excuse me. The Bisso Magwabane. I can't pronounce it. I apologize. Last year of master's in astrophysics, but I cannot seem to even get an interview. Any advice? Well, if you're still in your master's, maybe that's why. But if you're not getting interviews, it is your resume 99% of the time. Or it's your public profile. If you have a bad LinkedIn profile and you're not posting stuff you should be, or they found you on Twitter or Facebook or Instagram and you don't have a good social profile, that also can hurt you, but it's most likely your resume. I have a video on resumes if you want to look into that. Oh geez, it skipped to the bottom again. I'm not doing this. Somebody call YouTube. Good night. It's just like, it's like going to the bottom. I I don't see a, and I will say I don't see a comment from my wife. She's not watching. No, I'll survive. But I'm going to tell her. Because this is what always happens. She watches the first 30, 45 minutes. Then she stops watching, and then that's right when she logs off. That's when I call her out. So everyone in here knows my wife ain't watching. She ain't supporting me. No, I'm just messing. What tips would you get for a health analyst that intend to start posting on LinkedIn, especially in regards to issues of confidentiality? Tend to start posting on LinkedIn, especially in regards to, I wouldn't post anything that's going to get you fired. I wouldn't do that. If it has any confidential information, don't post it. People have asked me, and I'm like, at a minimum, you just should not be posting any confidential information. If you're going to create like a data set that has like any confidential information, you need to de-identify that. So where it has no personal information, no social security numbers, no nothing. You cannot have any, that's like hip, you're going to get sued. You're going to go to jail. You're going to prison for life. That's not true. But genuinely, I wouldn't be posting anything on LinkedIn like that. I don't know. Sinister said, man, Sinister's coming out with I'm learning all of his comments. I don't know why. His name's popping out to me. He said, man, thank you so much for these beautiful videos. You're a legend. If one day I become famous due to data analyst, I'll make sure to all people know and give you all credit. That's what's up, man. Become a famous data analyst. Do it. What's your opinion on data analytics and politics? I personally okay. Let me take a step back. Politics is extremely interesting. They have a ton of analysts, during political season, during the election seasons in the United States. They hire a ton of them, but it's mostly people who know politics. People have like the domain knowledge. A ton of them. My opinion on it is it's not, it's one of those industries that kind of ebbs and flows during the political seasons. To me, it's not as constant, but it could be good for you. I like politics. I'm interested in politics. I don't like all the crappy stuff that happens in politics, but I like politics. I think it's interesting. Let's keep going. I'm skipping back past a few. Do you think data analysts will still be in high demand in 5 years? I think it's in high demand now. I don't see it going down. And here's what I'll say is 10 years ago, and I wasn't in data analytics at that time, but 10 years ago, there was a fairly large shortage of data analysts. They just weren't as easily accessible to come by. And so they were getting paid more. Now it's more accessible. More people can get into it. There is always going to be a demand for data analysts in some capacity. And honestly, if you think about it, the analytics space hasn't changed a ton. It has changed, but it hasn't changed a ton even the past 5 years that I've been in. I've used new tools, I've learned new things, but there hasn't been a ton of change, which tells you that the majority of companies are going to keep their current tech stack for more than 5 years. They'll start upgrading, they go through cycles. The current stuff that I tell people to learn are still things that are going to be necessary in 5 years, and it'll still be a demand, I promise. Somebody make a note for 5 years, ask me. Just reading through. Let's see. Solo B, AKG said MySQL or Jupyter SQL. I don't know Jupyter SQL. You're talking about SQLite? You can use SQLite. That's a Python. Like SQLite is like a Python SQL framework. If I'm remembering that, unless I'm thinking of a different one. I think that's right. But sure, yeah, I like MySQL. MySQL is great. Solo B says your projects are great. Are they a good start to add to your resume, or developing your own is the way to go? Posting these projects only resemble our skill. Okay. I get asked this every single day. every single day. I probably for the past over a year. Here's what I will say. My projects, genuinely, my projects are what I would consider A-tier beginner projects. And I don't say that to pat myself on the back. But when I was making projects, when I started out, my projects sucked. And compared to the ones now, like the ones that I'm putting out that you guys can do for free, I mean, these are way better, like 10 times better. They are a fantastic place to start. I highly recommend everybody who's trying to get a data analyst job do those projects because they will help. With that being said, put them on your resume, do the work, then claim them as your own. I am okay with that. I have no problem with that. But I want you to go further. Don't just stop where I stop, right? I always tell you in those projects, hey, I'm doing this. This is like entry level. Continue with it. Take it on your own. Do a different analysis. Do different visualizations. Do something different. But use that as inspiration. I was saying earlier, if you guys weren't here, I was saying earlier, they were. I was basically. I don't know if anyone even asked me. Sometimes I just talk. I was saying, even today, I don't know how to do everything. But I'll go and do like a guided project on more advanced things. Like I referenced pagination through like websites in Python. That was something that I didn't know how to do, a year ago. And now I do it a lot. But I understood how to do it and I learned how to do it. And then I applied it to my own projects because I needed to go through multiple pages on websites. So somebody walked me through it. I learned from that. I applied it to then my own website that I need to do it on. Learn, and figured it out. That's what I want you to do. I want you to take these projects, learn as much as you possibly can, and then run with it and do your own thing. I think it's invaluable. It really that's how I learn, at least. I learn really well by doing these projects and then doing my own thing and trying to recreate it and be like, okay, what's the difference? Because it's not working here, but it's working here. Oh, and I do like a deep dive, and it's just a puzzle. It's just a massive puzzle that you have to solve, which I find fascinating. And so that's how I would take it. That's how I would do it. Oh geez, it skipped to the bottom again. What is happening? Okay, I think I found my spot. Gabe stumbled onto this live stream. Love you, Alex. Oh, well, Gabe, I am a married man. I'm flattered. Glad you're up and running right now. Yeah, almost got taken out by the storm. Can I get a job opportunity from just SQL and Excel, or do I need more skills? The landscape's changed. When I first started out, I only knew SQL, and not even that much SQL. But a lot of what I got was mostly from my enthusiasm, my good spirit, my good attitude, my domain knowledge as well. But yes, SQL is like a power skill. I always tell people to learn it first. It's fantastic. Highly recommend it. All right, we're coming, just so you know, guys, just so you guys know, I started at like 8:15. I'm not going to go that far past 9:30, which is when I told my wife I would stop. All right, next one. Let me see. All right. I'm sorry, I'm skipping some questions on purpose. I apologize. Let's see. Micah, I'm in my mid-40s and plan to migrate to the USA and change career into data analytics. Is the data analytics course a good place to start? Please advise. I genuinely, and I promise you, I'm not just saying this because I have a video on it, or Coursera is like a sponsor of the channel. I genuinely say this because I like the Google Data Analyst series. It does not go crazy in depth, no. And people have pointed that out, and I'm like, I'm aware of that. It doesn't go crazy into depth, but what it does do is it gives you a pretty good framework to walk forward with confidence. That's the psychological aspect that most people don't consider, which I do. So if you don't like the Google, whatever, I like it because it really takes you step by step. Here's what a data analyst does. Here's why you need to learn SQL. Here's why you need to learn Excel. Here is how data analysts work and do their stuff. These are all questions that some people don't learn until they actually start it, and they're like, oh, I didn't know that. It's a really good place to start. You can build, they have projects in there that you can build, and it's just, it's a good place to start. That's all I have to say. It's a good place to start. But yes, I do recommend it from people, especially if they're just starting out. Really good place to start. Let's see. Taco dumpling. I haven't read this whole question. I've only read the first sentence, so we'll see what else it says. For reaching out to recruiters, should you approach them with the tone of I want to learn more about you and your company, or the tone of I have XX skills and XX experience, I think I'm a good fit? The latter, if that means the last one. Definitely with the tone of skills, experience, I think I'm a good fit. And I'll give you an example. There's a job, and I always reference healthcare. There's a job with healthcare, and they work with claims data. You could say, hey, I'm Alex. I really like your company. Can I get an interview? Can we chat more about a position? Or you could say, hey, you guys work on claims data. I've worked with claims data for 2 years. I use SQL and Excel with claims data with hospitals. And this, again, I have experience, so it may be a little different. And I'm really interested in this specific position that I think I'd be a really good fit for. You speak specifically to why you'll be a good fit, and they're more likely to interview you. That's my experience. That's what I would do. Again, if you have no experience, you can just say, hey, I know about this type of work. I have experience in this and this. I really think I'd be a great fit for this. That's kind of what I would say. Anonymous. Will a 5 months job experience in only affect my job hunt in the future, because I feel like my current job I'm doing is not what I'm expecting, and having second thoughts doing my master's in data science? I literally just coached, so I'm mentoring this person, just coached this person through this exact situation, and I told them, switch. If you're 6 months in, especially if it's a contracting work, you can sometimes only 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, a year contracts, and then you're out. And on your resume, that's not going to look bad on you. It's going to show you it's a contract. If it's a full-time job, you can easily rationalize that by saying, it wasn't a challenge for me. I got in there, it was mostly Excel work and a little bit of SQL, and I have these skill sets, and I really want to utilize them because I know that they're really useful and powerful. So no, I wouldn't feel bad about jumping ship. Start applying while you have a job. Start applying. Just explain that to them, and most of the time they're understanding. They usually will get it. Let's see. Again, getting close to the end. I can't answer them all. We'll see. Skides. Thanks for coming, man. I appreciate it. Hot like fire. Yo, I've been in my brand new data job for 1 month. Couldn't have done it without you, Alex. Congratulations, man. I love to hear that. I like reading those out. I'm just kidding. I like reading them out because I get hype when I hear people who get like jobs and they just start like that hypes me up. I love it. Leisha. Hi, Alex. Is it important to learn Python for a data analyst role? There are some industries like finance that use Python more than other industries. Now, I learned Python like 3 years ago and I became obsessed with it, and I use it all the time just because I like it. But you don't need it. I don't think it's a need. I do think it becomes a very useful tool, though. Like when I first started my junior data analyst job at the company I currently work for, we didn't use Python on my team at all. Nobody except for the developers used it. No analyst. I worked on like 3 or 4 analysts. Nobody used it. I was like, hey boss, I kind of want to use it to organize these files and do all this some automation here. And she's like, go ahead, try it. And I did it, and they still use it to this day. I talked to her like 6 months ago. No, not that long ago, like 5 months ago. They still use it. So, it can be useful, but I don't think it's a necessity. That's my opinion. An interesting one. I have a mentor who's Christine Chipala said, I have a mentor who's really amazing. She recently linked me up with someone who hopes of landing a job at their company. Problem is, I freeze when I speak with my connection. Any advice for networking? I freeze when I speak with my connection. Like you freeze up, you don't know what to say. I thought that was going in a different direction. I apologize. I don't know. I don't know how to answer that. I apologize. Maybe if you word it in a different way, I'd understand that one better. Let's see. We only got a few minutes, people. Stop asking questions. Stop typing in the chat. Because I probably won't get to it. I apologize. Let's see. How do you work with recruiters? Should I hire one in order to get a job? No, don't hire a recruiter. At least if you're in the United States, recruiters are abundant. There are a million of them. There are a dime a dozen, as you are. So you need to work with many. When I was actively looking for data analyst jobs, I was trying to get that first real job. I was working with 8 recruiters at a time. It was like a full-time job on top of my full-time job to juggle that and not get fired from my first job because I was on so many calls with recruiters. Yeah, just how do you work with recruiters? Reach out, cold call, cold email, keep emailing, keep cold calling, reach out on LinkedIn. I mean, you have to be a bit shameless. You have to be a little bit shameless with recruiters. Like, you can't assume that they've seen it. You assume they didn't see it unless they responded to you. So you email them 20 times until they respond. I mean, it's a shameless. I mean, it really is. It's shameless. But you got to do what you got to do. You have to look out for you first. You don't know that recruiter and they don't know you, but if you get in front of them, you have a chance of getting a job. And if you don't, you don't. So it's tough. It's brutal. It can be brutal out there, but that's the game. You know, it's kind of it's just what you got to do. All right, I'm going to do 3 more questions and then I am out of here. I don't want my wife to be angry at me. I hope you guys can understand. I love my wife. I don't want her to be mad at me. Even though she didn't come to the live stream. Maybe she did. Maybe she didn't. Luis Eduardo Costa, you are late. I just saw your message. I'm sorry, man. And you're a super fan. Speaking of, if you guys want to support the channel, we only have a few minutes left. If you guys want to support the channel, become a super fan, become a member of the channel. Just helps me do stuff like this. And so the people in here who are, who have joined to be a member of the channel, thank you guys so much. You're the reason why we're putting this on. It was going to be member only, but I didn't like putting up like that paywall. So I hope you understand. I'm still going to do this. You'll still be here. I still super appreciate you guys, but, yeah, please do if you want to. All right, 3 more questions. Then I'm out of here. I thought my wife was coming in. Let's see. I got to pick good ones. All right. So if I don't pick yours, I'm sorry. It wasn't good. Let's see. See, now there's no questions that I want to answer because now I only have 3 left. I have to be selective. Oh geez. Let's see. I already talked about freelancing. I already did. Okay. Div Yashari P. Hey Alex, or hi Alex. When you are applying for entry-level data analyst jobs, choosing particular domain is important. I am somewhat on the fence about this because I did it and it really worked out well for me, but I don't think everybody else has. Not everyone. Most people won't. I think you should try to do something you have some knowledge in, right? Don't go in purely blind. Like and try to find more general areas. Don't try to go into like video game analytics or forensics analytics, like with police. Like that stuff's really niche, crazy niche and really hard. So if you have a specific skill set, do it because it helps you a lot. I promise you that domain knowledge helps you a lot. But I think it's more than okay to kind of spread a broad net and just see what you get callbacks for. That's my opinion. I think you should you don't have to select a domain right away, but within the first, I say 3 to 5 years, you should try to select a domain to stay with if you want to advance more and make more money. Marcelo Abadi, hey Alex, or hello Alex, I'm late here. I know, I'm sorry. I started at 8:15. It's almost 9:30 here at least. I wish I could stay on longer for you guys, but I told my wife I'd be done at 3 minutes ago. I still have 2 questions to go, so we'll see. But Luisa, did you ever use Pentaho? Did you ever use? No, I've never used that before. I don't know what that is. Ghost said, be a man, put your foot down. That's not a question, but what I will say is, no, I won't be doing that. And I am still a man. I'm still a man. Let me see. Because now I'm at the bottom. Now I'm at the bottom. No, I asked like a few more questions because I skipped a bunch of questions thinking there'd be more questions, and now there's no questions. Jeez, what am I doing? What have I done? I've bottlenecked myself here. Now I'm relying purely on you. Maybe I'm just do one more question. Let me see. Yeah, I just talked about the Google Analytics certificate course. So if you missed it, yeah, I'll let that speak for itself if you want to rewatch it. What do you think of the job market now? Job market right now is in a small downturn, not massive as you may perceive it, but it's not massive. The big tech companies that overextended themselves, the large companies that overextended themselves make up a small portion of the data analysts that are being hired. So, Tesla's not hiring. You'll say Facebook's not hiring. These are small downturns, right? That does not mean that is crazy, crazy, crazy tough. What is crazy tough is it's just there's more people applying. So, and that's how it's been for many years. It's nothing new. Stand out, reach out to recruiters, work on your LinkedIn, make a really good resume. That is crazy important. And most people, they don't have a great resume. I've looked at a lot of really bad resumes. So the job market right now is still good. It's still good for people in the data world. It really is. And it's still competitive and there's still demand. It hasn't changed that much. Okay. We got some questions. This is our last question of the night. Last question of the night. Let me see. Who's the lucky last question of the night? I don't know. ALJ here 128 said, glad I came in. Don't piss off your wife. Yeah, I won't. I don't plan on. Actually, I'm gonna text her saying I'm gonna text my wife. Give me a second. Just gonna say done in a few. 1 second. Done in a few. Bam. All right. It's set in stone. Let's see. Oh geez, what's happening? Okay, last question. All right, let me see. I don't want to answer that one. No offense. I don't want to answer it. I only have one question left. Yeah, I'm not. This isn't my last question, but I do mentorship. I have like 8 people that I'm working with right now. I don't have any availability to do more. I don't. And it's just as it comes. As there's availability, I don't have a wait list anymore. I had like 500 people on the wait list. At one point, I was like, it would take me like 10 years. No, sorry, not 500, 100. I had like 100 people on the wait list. I was like, I will never get through this. So I had to stop the wait list. It's just first come, first serve. All right. Ola de Pupo Massoli. Let's say he's Italian. This isn't our last question. I'm just doing it because he made a donation, but he said, please, how important is Power BI in data analyst career? If you work with a data stack that has Power BI, it's really good to know. But is it a must-know skill? I don't think it's a must-know, but you could learn Tableau, Looker, all these other ClickView. You could learn all these other visualizations, and they could do just as well. But Power BI is a good one to learn. All right. You wore me down. Harvez, this is our last one of the night. Shake. Where can we practice real life projects for data analysis? My channel, and I'm not just saying this, I genuinely believe it. My channel has some of the best data analyst portfolio projects out there, and they're all guided projects. Those are fantastic. I just did a video on Coursera projects. On Coursera, if you already use Coursera, it comes with your subscription, but they have a guided project section, and they have like hundreds of ones. And I pointed that out in a video because one, I didn't know that existed until like a couple months ago. 2, I can't make every project out there. So if you're looking for something specific, they may have it, and it's a really good place. Next place I'd look is GitHub. So, you may not think of GitHub as like something like that, but I found a lot of great resources and inspiration. So you can type in just GitHub data analyst projects and see what comes up, and go and look in people's repos and see what you can find, because they may have all the code there for you, and then you can use that code and like learn from it. Just good ways to find projects. And, Kaggle is a good place to look as well, because they have, people can submit code on there too that you can see. But although that's more machine learning focused, you will see data analyst projects on there as well. So that's what I would say. That's what I would say. Now, listen, I would stay on here for another 2 hours with you guys. I really would. I love doing this. I got a family. I need to sleep. I thought I heard her again. Okay, maybe not. I gotta sleep. You guys gotta sleep. So we're gonna call it quits. But thank you guys for joining. I had a blast. We're sitting at 100 plus people probably 1,000 people who filtered through here. And for those people who joined, that meant a lot. It really did. I absolutely love hanging out with you guys, doing all this. It genuinely means a lot to me that you guys are motivated and curious and have good questions and are trying to advance your careers. I mean, I wish you all the best. I hope that you guys are doing well, you guys are studying, you guys are advancing your careers in this direction, because it's done a lot of people a lot of good. And so I'm hoping that this data analyst field will be good to you as well. So with that being said, I see people saying bye in the chat. Bye, guys. I appreciate it. I'm going to be doing monthly live streams from here on out. If you want to support the channel, you guys can become a member of the channel. You'll get little memes or emojis that you can use of my face, and you get a star next to your name, which is super cool. So support the channel if you want to do that. Thank you, guys. I will see you guys probably in like 2 weeks. I'm going to be doing a 300K live stream. I'll be doing some giveaways, and then I'll be doing another October live stream at the end of October. So I plan on doing more live streams. And again, I hope this one has been good, because I plan on doing more live streams. So just hoping that this one actually sounded good with my new mic, as well as figuring out this whole streaming thing, because it's somewhat new to me. All that being said, I see everyone saying goodbye. It makes me sad. I don't want to say goodbye. It's my wife. All right, my wife is making me do this. I'm just kidding. I love my wife. Don't tell her I said that. But huge shout out to Luis and Marcelo, who are members who joined. You guys are what's making this happen. I appreciate you guys. All right, everybody, take it easy. Have a good night. I'm just dragging on. All right, that's it. No, for real. All right, let me go over here. Wait, how do I stop this? Oh, geez. I don't know how to stop the stream. No, I do. I just got to go over here. Wait, do I know how to stop the stream? Uh-oh. Give me a second. Oh, geez. Oh, I found it. All right. For real, though. All right. Goodbye, everybody. I appreciate it. Have a good night.